Hi, this is Tracy Phillips from Mindless Crafting, and today we're going to be making this beautiful cascading mini album. I want to welcome you to MadeItCon 2020. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, so let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start by showing you the base of this, okay? All the things that you'll need, the extra materials you'll need is already in your packet. And when you get your packet, you're going to have all these items in your packet. Okay, so let's go ahead and break this down. First, you're going to have some gems. You're going to have a pack of paper, so you can make more than one of these projects. You're going to have some black paper, and you'll see what we're going to do with this paper. Okay, so that's cardstock. You should also have in your packet these items right here. So let me just explain what this is. Okay, so this is what's going to make your mini album, your cascading mini album. And guess what? You get to recycle material at the same time. So this is packaging. All right, so these packaging, like the boxes, cereal boxes, oatmeal boxes are great. Okay, so I already pre-cut all the sizes to make it easy for you. And if you want to round the corners, you can do that. Okay, so you see how those cascade? So that's what gets this here. So imagine going from this to this. And then you'll also have your template where we're going to cover that and mount it for our cover, our top cover. So look how awesome that is. You'll also have some book rings, okay? Also in your package, you're going to get some ribbon to decorate with. Okay, so I put everything together to make this easy. So if you follow along, you will be You'll have absolute success with this project. So you're going to have some sentiments to go with it. Okay, so I stamped out some of these sentiments, so you're going to be able to color in. So you want to have pencils, colored pencils, markers, alcohol markers, or water-based markers, whichever one that you want. Okay, so you're also going to have some tulle also in your packet. So you should have all these items in your packet, plus some yellow paper. Now it might be a little bit different from this. It may have yellow and white stripes on it. It could be just a plain yellow, and that will help you to cover this. Okay. You'll also have a few of these mounting tapes. If you have some at home, feel free to use it. But the nice thing is you'll be able to decorate this and maybe improvise a little bit, so you don't have to have it exactly like this. This is more for inspiration, but if you want to follow each and every step, you're welcome to. So let's go ahead to the next step. Okay, some other items that you might need would be some kind of like a picker for your jewels, okay, or your gems, a pencil, a fussy cutting scissors. I like the Cutter Bee scissors, and maybe a regular scissor. You might need that, but it may not be required. But a larger scissor I always like to have on hand. You might also need a hole punch. I use this Crop-a-dile, but you can use a regular hole punch, okay, because we'll need to punch holes in this. Okay, so one of the first things you want to do is you want to make sure that these are lined up, and I tried to cut them as precisely, but if the sides are just a little bit off, where it's not like both sides are not even, you can just trim off a tiny bit. Also, if you want, you can round the edges. So I know there are like tools that you can use to round the edges, but I would just use a regular scissor, or you can line it up with maybe a coin in the corner and just cut like right around it. That's if you want the rounded edges. I'm just trying to give you some other ideas. Okay, I almost forgot. You're also going to need some type of uh, glue. I like the art glitter glue because it's great for paper crafting, but you can use another type of paper crafting glue. So let's go ahead and pick out our papers. Okay, so if we want to really match this up, but you don't have to, you can, if you want this polka dot to be the front of your cover, you can. So you can pick out any pages, but I'm going to just kind of stay in the same order. So we've got that stripe or that jagged kind of paper there. We're going to be covering both sides, so let's take that one out. We got that cute plaid. Okay, so I'm just picking out my papers right now. Also have this right here, really pretty. And with that whole paper pack goes a long way, so let's see. I'm going to just pick out 2 of these just in case. We might not need both of them. I'm going to pick out 2. That polka dot. Okay, and let's go ahead and look here. Okay, so we're going to need another one of this. I'll go back and count it for you, how much of each matching one that we have. And that should cover everything. Another one of the polka dot, and finishing off with this. So you might not need all of it because you're going to be cutting down and you'll have some leftover pieces, and you could use it to do different decorations on the inside. So that's probably what we'll end up doing. Okay, so we've got, let me just make sure. I think one of the hardest things when you're crafting is picking out the paper. Like that. 2 of these. 2 of this color. 1 of this, might need another one. And 1 of that pretty yellow and blue polka dot. Okay, so that's what we need. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next part where we start to cover our book. Okay, so let's go ahead and cover our pieces of our page pieces or packaging. And this is more like a sturdy packaging, but it's still bendable. So we don't need a whole lot of glue on this. Okay, this is one-sided paper, right? So all I'm going to do, depending on how you want your stripes to go, if you want to go like this, that's fine. If you want to go like that, that's fine too. It's just up to you. So hopefully you're going to be inspired by this project and want to do more. Kind of gets you to looking at your packaging a little bit differently. So we're going to go through this whole process. So this is almost like as if you were in my class and we were at Made It Con. So hopefully I'm explaining this well enough for you to be able to do this by yourself. If at some point you don't understand a part, you could always pause it. You can pause and catch up. It's just up to you. And you can watch the video over and over and over again. Okay, so I'm just going to cut right straight through there. Right straight through there. And there we go. First piece is covered. So who would know that that's just packaging from a cereal box, right? Okay, so I'm going to keep some of my extra pieces to use as decoration inside of my journal or my mini album. Okay, let's go ahead and get that piece on. I need to look at my paper again because I'll have my stripes going different ways. And that's okay if that's what you want. And don't forget, it's okay to kind of mix it up a bit and do your own thing. If you want to do your cover in a different pattern, you can. Okay, and I try to utilize every bit of my paper. Okay, nice thing I like about art glitter glue is that you can actually spread it around and kind of wiggle. You still have a little bit of wiggle room before it dries. It does dry quickly, but it also dries clear. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut away this part here. I know some people like to trace. I'm not going to trace around it and then cut it out. I just kind of like to lay it down right there and we're good to go. Okay, so that's one cover, one part down. Let's do the other cover. Okay, this one we're going to go ahead and take the second part and we're just going to start laying these down. Look at that. I bet you don't look at packaging the same anymore. And the nice thing is these are sturdy enough where you can add pictures to these types of mini albums, which I think is pretty cool. You can decorate them however you want. You can do some for Christmas, or maybe there's like a baby shower and you want to give a handmade gift. I think it would be really cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut this one out. And so my hope is that you're creating right along with me, going right through the steps as if you were sitting right here with me. And I'm just keeping my extra pieces to the side there. Okay. And I just put this down here. And if it's not smooth enough for you, but this is why I like art glitter glue, because it's so smooth. Okay, so look at that. You could just press that on. I know some people use a kind of a credit card and just press it into. I'm just using my hands. And it's going to adhere pretty good. You don't want to overdo it on the glue. And you don't want to use too much glue. Get that. Okay, so we got that second part down. Okay, on both sides. Okay, so now we're going to do this other piece here, the third piece. So I want to be able to cut these little pieces off here, and you'll see in a moment what I mean by that. Okay, make sure I got this right. And let me just make sure that when I'm measuring this, I want to make sure I'm not turning it, because I want this, if I go this way, it's going to come off the edge a little bit. Let's make sure I got this right. All right, so you want to make sure that it stays lined up nicely. See that? Look how neat that looks. Okay, so this way we'll do it. And I'm going to go ahead and look how cute that is. This is card inspiration for me, just looking at the colors on here. I love upcycled crafts. I've been crafting all my life, but as a YouTuber, I've been crafting on YouTube for about 10 years now. So I do have a Mindless crafting YouTube channel. Many of you may already be subscribed to it, but if you're not, check me out on my Mindless Crafting YouTube channel. Okay. All right, and you see that little bit of white hanging off there? All I'm going to do, super easy, just cut it away. Right? You know how we crafters do. We just kind of adapt, and if it doesn't fit, we make it fit. Okay. So we got one side of that, and I may need to pull another piece out. Let me just check on this side. Actually, we're going to go to our polka dot. So I'm just following the pages as I have them here. We're going to go get our multicolored polka dot out. Okay, and that's what we're going to put on the other side. So this one has two different sides. If you want to keep it all consistent and do this scallop and scallop on both sides, you can. But I'm just going to go kind of going by the book there. Okay, so this one is going to just put more on here. And like I said, if I'm going too fast and you want to kind of catch up, you can pause the video, which is nice. You can watch the video about 100 times if you want. All right, and we're going to just smooth that on there. And then we're just going to cut that away. So when I was creating this, the first album, I saw those scalloped edges. Let me just cut this away a little bit here. And I thought, let me show you. See that right there? I thought, why not just cut along there, right along the same line to make that? It looks real fun, right? So all I'm going to do is take my scissors and cut away just right on that line there. Cut right on the line there. So you don't have to do this, but I thought it would look fun. Just gives it an extra little something. I got little pieces flying all over the place, so I probably need goggles for this. So thanks to all of you for taking my class. I truly appreciate it. And like I said, I wish we could have had fun just kind of meeting face to face, but that's okay. We still get to do it here. There's nothing like being in a room full of crafters. Okay, so you see that? Just like that. So that's how you get that little scalloped edge on there. Okay, so I'm just lining these up like this as I go. All right, so you see how it's coming together. Okay, let's go look at the other page here. Okay, I put that there. Now we're going to get this second to last piece, and we're going to do another one of the polka dot there. So I told you it's going to be step by step. If you want to, you kind of like, okay, I got it. You can kind of fast forward it if you like as well. But just enjoy the process. Just go through all of the steps and just have fun. I think after this project, you're probably going to want to get all the cereal boxes and stuff. I think this is a fun craft to do with kids. Get them to think about recycling and upcycling things and turning them into beautiful creations. so we're going to go ahead and glue this down right here. Just like that. And as you're doing this and working through the process, I'm sure there's like ideas that might come to your mind. And you might say, you know what, I think I can do something else with it. Or maybe I'll round the edges. And so that is just off just by slightly. I can see my little cereal box sticking out through there. And now it looks good. All right, so you might have some other ideas that come to you. And feel free to do those ideas. Okay, so let's see. Just make sure I've got everything on here. Oh, look what we're going back to. This paper going in the other direction now. You see how that is? We're going in the other direction with that paper. This one right here. This paper right here will make you a little bit seasick with all the waviness going on. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this here. And I got to remember to put my pen in my glue. To me, spiraling around like this with the glue, and don't think I'm strange, but for some reason, it's like therapeutic, you know? Let's put that right there. Close to the edge. And I'm just rubbing it in there. If you want to use a bone folder, you can do that too. But my hands work fine on this. My glue isn't flowing as well as I want it to, so I'm just going to kind of leave that there for a moment with the pen in it. Kind of get a better flow there. Okay, and there we go. Okay, number 4 is down. See, once you get all that down, then you're good to go. All right, so now we got that last part, the rounded edge, and I rounded your edges for you. So if you wanted to round another edge, you can just kind of take this. This is what I would do. Take this, cut, and cut, and that's it. So just another idea. If you wanted to round some of your other edges, line it up, and then just cut around the sides there, the bottom edges. Okay. All right, we got one more to go, which is this side here. And on the back side, we got this paper right here. So I know all the pretty paper that you have, if you're a paper crafter like me, all that pretty paper that you have sitting on your shelf, just go ahead and use it. I'm sure you got packaging in your house. Go ahead and use it. And just create something beautiful. I like to do bookmarks with these. I love making gift tags out of these also. Okay, right here. I also like using these to make embellishments. So they're the perfect sturdiness to make embellishments out of. Okay, and we got that on there. Yep, this is a cornflakes box, y'all. That's one of the hardest things for me is to throw out packaging because I know I can make something beautiful out of it. Just gently go around the edges. And there's no rush with this project. If you feel like you want to do it in 2 days, you know, do all your covers first, cover it with the pretty paper, and then on the next day, go back and do all the little decorations. So the video is yours forever. So you can basically pause it and then continue when you're ready. Okay, so we're going to do that back cover. Right there. And you can do smaller versions of these, would be really cute. You can distress the edges of the papers. It's another thing you can do. You can use old book pages if you like here you were using the cardstock, but you can use old book pages and make a mini album using old book pages. Okay, and we are coming along here. I hope you're still hanging on with me, doing your cutting. Don't rush the project, just go ahead and enjoy the process. Okay, and look at that, y'all. Look how cute that is. So there we go. So now we have our base. That was super simple. Let's go ahead and cover this right now. Then we're going to go back and get ready to put some of the holes in here. Okay, so I'll show you how to measure those out. Let's get some yellow paper to cover this. I thought it might be fun. I love mixing patterns, but if you don't like mixing patterns, that's okay. You can get maybe one of the other papers from here and then make a cover. So you have this right here. And here's one of the things, I love this shape, and I think it looks good on a card too. You can take this and trace it on and save one as a template so you can always have this. So just trace around it and use it as a template. So we're going to cover this. And we only need to cover the one side of this. Just one side. Because the other side is going to be glued down on top. So it's not too bad. Going around those grooves there. And I want to take you through the entire process because if we were sitting in a class together, there's no speeding up, right? Sometimes we rush things so much, but we need to take the time to enjoy the things that we love. And so if crafting is something that you love, hey, take your time. And I'm going to get a gel pen, and I'm going to go around the edge here. See this? Right around the edge with some stitching. I love doing that. So this is a black gel pen. I also sometimes use, let's see, something like this, a micron pen, and just go right along the edge there. Or you can distress it with some distress ink. Right around the edges if you want. And you can tell I use this gel pen a lot because it looks like some of the ink ran out. And so I'll just switch out. So I know what I'll be ordering, another gel pen. And just adding that little bit of stitching. Stitching is one of my favorite things to do. In case you don't know me, stitching is one of my favorite things to do. Okay, so now we got that ready. It's not going to go on yet because we still need to punch holes in this. So that should be like your next step, is where to punch your holes. Okay, so let me just show you what I did here. I'm going to use my ruler just so you get a sense of where to punch your holes. So at the 1 inch mark and at the 4.5 inch mark. 1 inch and 4.5 inch mark is where I'm going to put my holes, and I do want them to be closer, somewhat closer to the top because I want to decorate the inside, so I want to leave some leeway for when I put this on here. Right, so you don't want to put it too close to the top, you want it to line up. Okay, so 1 inch and 4.5 should even it out. Or you can do this, 1 inch here and 1 inch here, which I think would put us at, let me just make sure. Yeah, 1 inch and 4.5. So this one looks like it's just slightly larger. So let's go ahead and just, here's an easy way to do it, easier way. Depending on how close you want your rings to be. You can go in 1 inch from here, right, which will put you at 5, and you go 1 inch from here, which will put you at 1. Okay, so I'm just going to go right here. I'm one of those let me eyeball it kind of people. Okay, so right about there. Okay, so let's go ahead and punch my holes here. I'm going to line this up the best I can here. I love this Crop-a-dile. Okay, one there. And one right there. Okay, now what I end up doing, now I end up taking these, place this there, and so I can line them up and see before I start punching holes in there, right? So if you feel comfortable punching through there, you can, but I don't feel comfortable doing that. So I'm going to take all of these and just go ahead and just use the first one to measure it out. But do what's comfortable for you. Okay. And one more. I told you I was going to take you step by step. I'm going to hold your hand through this process. Okay, and now I'm just going to go ahead and punch the holes through these. Let me just do that first one, and then I'll show you, come back and show you all the rest. Because all you want is for those to line up. There we go. There we go. Good thing I marked it in black and not pencil, because I wouldn't have been able to see the pencil. Okay, and guess what? You're going to need one on this as well. I'm just going to come in right around here, like right there, just eyeballing it. I think I'm getting really confident here. And I'm going to go ahead and that, and on this side, nice and clean. Okay, so I'm punching the holes in that. Let me show you why. Because I want to add some tulle to that area. I think it just looks so super fancy when you got the tulle on it. Yep. Okay, let me clean up this mess and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so we've got all of our holes punched and they line up perfectly. So let's work on that first page, right? So that inside of the first cover. So if we take this and we flip this out, we can see the word rise above it, and it's got a nice little flap there. Okay, so all we're going to do is we're going to measure out some cardstock, and you have black cardstock in your packet, and we're going to measure 4 3/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, 4 3/4 by 5 1/2. So I have my paper trimmer. So let me show you how we're going to do this. So you're going to get one of your black pieces of cardstock. And let's just, I like to measure again, especially since I'm going to make this flap and I want it to fit inside of here. So if you wanted to make it smaller, you can. So let's measure again. 4 3/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to just do here 4. I'm going to get my, this is my paper trimmer, 4 3/4. By 5 1/2. Okay, and so this is the long way. And so I am going to fold this in half, just like this. And that's what makes this flap. So you could use a bone folder, or sometimes I'll take my scissor and just go like this, use that back edge of it. All right, because you want that inside flap, just like this. And now here's what you can do. You could take some notebook paper and I want it to fit on the inside of here. So this is how I do it. And it's just, if you're one of those people that don't like to measure, right, all you're going to do is, you see how I have that lined up? Just a little bit over the edge. Leaving a little bit of a border here and a little bit of a border right there. And then I just cut right around it. And that way, if you want to put little spaces for writing inside, you can. All right, so we can glue that down. I'm just going to use a small amount of glue because this paper is pretty light. So I don't need a whole lot. Okay, so I still want that little bit of a border around it. And I could write a note in here if I'm writing it, if I'm making it for someone. Okay. Now you got that little flap. Okay, you could also take another piece of paper. Now here's where your scraps come in. Like some of those leftover pieces of paper. I like to use my little scraps. And so I want a cover on here. And if you don't want to use a paper trimmer, take this, right? I just turned it over. I'm leaving a little bit of a black edge around it. I'm cutting it here, and I'm cutting it right along here. And I don't know if anyone else does it like that, but it just makes things super easy that way. Okay, so there's where my words are in there. And on the outside, I'm just putting this with a little bit of a border. And I like leaving the border around. It just makes it a nice, clean finish. And don't stress so much over measuring. Just think about, you want to decorate a certain space inside of your album. Okay, right there. Okay, so now you see how that is? Now you can add your little bit of decoration on there. And we could also go back and do this like later on. It just depends on what order you want to go in. So you see I have some of these strips, and you have some of these also in your packet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, since it has the little flower holes in there, that makes so pretty. I don't like to throw away any of my paper because I feel like you could use it for something else. Okay, so now I'm going to just add some glue right in these little areas here. And add something right there. You could put it along the top if you want as well. Okay, and so now some of the words that you already have, see that, rise above it. Super cute. It's not like this one, but I can still kind of improvise. And I'll get my little fussy cut scissors. And on this one, I went around it with my gel pen, makes it stand out real nice. Okay, and then I just go like this. It makes the project fun because you're kind of using your natural eye to kind of do this rather than having to measure every single detail. Because I know for some it can be quite stressful just to measure. And if you watch my channel, I don't measure a whole lot. There are instances where I have to measure, but I try to keep it kind of natural, kind of eyeballing it, kind of crafting. Okay, and then if you have a white gel pen, you can go around the edge. You can make something fun on this area here. So let me get my white gel pen. Let me show you what I'll do. I'm just going to take this and maybe put some stars there. Another one there. Just right around there, just a little bit. And now I can take this, put it on here, so you can change it up a bit. And that's what I'm doing right now. Super cute, and we haven't added our butterfly in yet. Okay, so now let's get our cover, or the inside of our cover, right? And you notice I'm kind of keeping everything together so I can kind of see this visually and have you see it as well as it comes together. And so now I'm just going to place that on there, glue it down right on the back. You should always have black cardstock in your stash. Something about that black cardstock. Okay, and you see how that is? That's how I get that flap to stand up. All right, I haven't even finished it yet and it's already standing up. So that's how I get that to do that. Okay. All right, and so now you can start to kind of see what you want to do with your book. So on that inside part here, I did 2 squares. And let's see, these I think I may have cut 3 by 3. So these are 3 by 3 squares. So what I did, let me show you how that came together. I'm going to get my paper trimmer again. So I got my black cardstock. And I did the black. See? 3 by 3 square. And we need another one because we want matching squares. Okay. So we got 2 3 by 3 squares. Now we're going to take, we could take the polka dot blue, and rather than 3 by 3, I'm going to come in 1/4 inch, and so I'm going to do 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 right there. And so that will leave me a nice little border around my square. Make sure 2 3/4. And I think that's already 2 3/4, but I like to make sure. There we go. Another great tool you should have in your stash is that paper trimmer. That is a Fiskars paper trimmer, and I've had it for a couple of years. I love it. Okay, so I have actually going to have matching ones on this rather than that yellow. This is coming together, and we haven't even added our butterflies in yet. So really just have fun with this. If you say, hey, I want my squares to be even smaller, you can make them even smaller. Oops, let's put that on here. And just putting that black border just really makes it pop, especially when you're going to put it inside your book. Okay, so I'm just keeping it just like that. I'm going to line this one up right next to here. So it's just like I'm building my book, taking it page by page. So I'm going to line them up like this. So before you glue them down, you might want to just kind of line them up and see how they look. They look great to me. Right there. Right, so you cut your black square out first, and then you cut your pattern paper 1/4 of an inch smaller. Okay, just like that. Okay, so you see how that is? Went from here to here, and let's go ahead and flip that other page up like this. See how that looks? Let me show you how I made this. Okay, so I have one that's already cut out, but I really want you to see how this was done. Okay, so what I did was, let me just get my ruler again. I cut this 4 inches by 2 3/4. 4 inches by 2 3/4. And then I came in 1/2 inch smaller, just 1/2 inch smaller. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to make that tag. Okay, so that'll be for the back side of this, all right? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to cut the edge off here. Then I'm going to take this one, line it up on this side. See what I did? I took the one from here, right? This way, line it up. Let's line it up that way. And then cut it to get an even edge. Just like that. And now I'm just going to put it right on here. Glue it down. And just putting that little bit of a border on that tag really makes a big difference. And then I'm going to take this and just leaving that little bit of an edge, just like that. I'm going to cut the sides here, leaving a little bit of a border, and cut right there. So that's what it looks like. All right, and then you can go back and you can decorate it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I put that tool in there. And I don't have blue, but I do have a pink. So I'm going to take my light pink. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a hole here. And I'm just eyeballing it again. And another hole right over here. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And before I glue it down, I'm going to put my tool in. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm taking some of this, and you should have some tulle in your packet. I really like using tulle in my projects. Right, and all I'm doing is twisting it, and then just pushing it through the hole. So if you have like a pokey tool or something, you could use that. But if you don't, just take your time and eventually it will go through. Okay, and then I'm going to take this, and I am just, you notice I'm going to just kind of save it, right? I'm going to keep that little bit because you never know, you might want to use it for something else. But it'll just stand up on its own once you cut it. All right, and then I'm just going to put it right there. And I kind of like making things where it's kind of just a little bit off kilter. And now I'm going to add more glue to the back of this and stick it right down. Okay, now you have your page there. You can add your other things in. Okay, and that tool will flatten out. You can't mess up tool. It just does what it does, you know? Just like that. Okay, so we've got that. Got this here. Now we've got, let's get our next page. Okay, keeping these in order. Okay, so we got that. We got this right here. There we go. Got that right there. Almost lost my place there. And then we've got this here. Yep. There we go. There we go. Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We're getting it here. Okay, there we go. All right. See why I like to go in order? Okay, so the next one will be here, right? So I went ahead and cut out. So mostly, notice I get larger as my pages get larger. So this one is, once again, this is a 4 by 4. So I cut the black cardstock 4 by 4, and then came in a 1/4 inch at 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 on the pattern paper. So I like to take you through all of the steps just so you can follow along. Okay, so if you wanted to put it like this, you can, right? So it just has a little bit of a difference there. Or if you want to keep it like this, you could do it like that. I kind of like that. So these books can get really thick if you're adding a lot to it. I'm just going to do this just to give you another idea of what you can do. Okay, so now we're going to flip that there. Let's see what we got on this side. Okay, so you see that now? we're working on this page right here. All right, this is up towards the top. Got your scallop edge on the top, scallop edge on the top there, and you've got this paper here, and this one is again 4 by 4 square, and it fits perfectly in there. The black is 4 by 4. The pattern paper is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. I told you I was going to make sure I took my time with this and really took you through the steps, and then on the next one you can just kind of play around and kind of add all kinds of things in there. Pictures, some words. You can stamp some images on there too. So one of the things I love is flowers and butterflies. My favorite things. Okay, and see how I like mixing up the patterns? So you can take one paper pack and kind of really pull everything together. Let the paper do the work. Okay, so that's done. Flip that there. Okay, and then we have this right here. Okay, so let me measure this one out. This is 3 3/3 by 5 1/4. 3 3/4 by 5 1/4 on the black. 3 3/4 by 5 1/4 on the black, and then I just came in 1/8 of an inch. You see how the border is smaller on that? But you can be consistent and just come in 1/4 of an inch smaller on the pattern paper. And let's see, maybe I'll have the edges go down this way, the scallops. You can do your page this way, or you can do it this way. So it's up to you. And so if you wanted to, and you don't have a lot of crafting time, you can just take a few minutes, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes to just do some daily crafting and just do a little at a time. Do a page at a time, a layout at a time. And then if you're like me, you'll probably go back and add in more stuff. I know that's one of the things I love to do, is add in more things later on. Okay, and that's the way that looks. And we can go in and we're going to go back and add those in. Okay, let's go to the next one. Flip that over, flip that over. So I'm keeping my holes at the bottom here, because that can become a little bit confusing when you're trying to decorate your book. Okay, so I did three different sizes here. Okay, so let me show you what I did. Okay, I'm just trying to keep all of these together. Okay, so I have 3.5 by 3.5. Okay, so what you're going to do is cut this down 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay. Same goes for this one. 3.5 by 3.5 square, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 square. Okay, and you could kind of line these up however you want. Let's go ahead and glue them down. And if you want to do circles, you could go ahead and do circles. I think that would look nice, kind of the circles mixed with the squares, or just all circular. Because I'm not afraid to use stuff like this, trace around it onto pattern paper, and you can kind of have all circles in your book. But I want this to be one of those relaxing projects so that it's not stressful to you. And so that's why I'm going step by step on here. I don't want to leave anything out so that when you do decide to make your second book or even go through your first one, it's an easy, relaxing process. Okay, and then this little itty bitty one is 2 by 2, so it's 2 by 2 squared and 1 3/4 squared. You can do an inspirational journal. I've made journals for my mom and my sister. I've done mini albums for them as well. And those are like gifts that they really cherish, something that's handmade. And then I tell them, guess what I used? A cereal box. And they're like, no way. Okay, so here. Now if you notice on here, I punched a hole in there. And if you want, you can add little charms to the bottoms, anywhere really. You could add little charms, maybe mainly close to the edges, but I thought the bottom would be nice. You could add a charm on there too if you have like, or even broken jewelry. You can, that has a little clasp on it, you can do that. So just to add something else there. Okay, making sure I don't forget where I am here. See that? Leaving that little edge there. And leaving that right there. Look at that. So you got a whole line up there. If you wanted to, you could put it there. It's just up to you. You can cut out another one of these, put one there, put another one there. Okay, so I'm going to put this right here. Okay, and those are our pages, our matching pages. Okay, so we got that on that side, this on this side. Leave that up there. Okay, now we've got this page right here. Okay, and I had already cut it out. Okay, and let's just show you how I did this. Got this here. All right, so let's go ahead and measure this out so you can see how much it is. Okay, so this one is 4 by 4 squared. So that leaves 3 3/4, 3 3/4 on that pattern paper. And let me go ahead and glue that down. And if you don't have a paper trimmer, you can still use your ruler. And that's what I used to do a while back when I didn't have a paper trimmer. I just used my 12-inch ruler. Okay, so we got this right here, right? Now let me get that scallop paper. See how much of that I have. And you should have more than enough in your packet. Okay, just put that there. I'll have to go ahead and cut into that one. Okay, so I'm just going to put that there because I want to show you how I did this. Okay, so measured that one. Let's see. So this one is 3 by 2. So that leaves this at 2 3/4, 1 3/4. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this down. And we're going to do this one here. Okay, so that's what we got. All right, I can move it up there, move that there. You want to bring it down further, maybe put that here. You could turn this one this way. It's just up to you. Go ahead and glue that down. Okay. And you'll notice this will start to get faster as you get comfortable. And you may want to make some of your squares larger. Or rectangles. Okay, put that right there. Okay, and for this part here at the bottom, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to cut right here. Let's see. Oh, I need to make it a little bit thinner. Okay, and so what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take this and put it here, right? See that right there? And what I like to do, it's just my natural way of crafting, is fold that back just a little bit and then cut that off. So that just kind of measures that out. Then I'm going to take my scissor and go in and create that little edge there. Just take your time, no rush. Unless you want to hurry up and get to the next project, then you can rush. And you'll be thinking the whole time like, oh, I can do one for Christmas with a Christmas theme or a fall theme. A fall theme would be really pretty. So I can put this right here. I'm just going to glue that down. And put this right along there. And then you might say, hey, I need something else. And this is where your little scraps come in. So if I was to take this and just cut or put in my paper trimmer, whichever one. And then I have that little strip. You see, it's not exactly like that one, but now I got my little strip that I could put along that edge there. And just add something to it. Makes that stand out just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to take this, stretch it right across there, and cut off that edge. This is why I like art glitter glue. It just really, it's like a great paper crafter's glue. Okay, so that's what we got, and let me show you what the back looks like. Alright, so let's just flip that over like this. Now you do have some thin ribbon in your packet, and what I did was I took this, let me measure it for you. This is 4 1/4 by 2 1/2. 4 1/4 by 2 1/2. So this needs to be 4 by 2 1/4 for the pattern paper. Let's see. I think it needs to be cut just a little bit shorter. So I didn't cut this off here enough. Just slightly, a little bit more. This is how scraps are created. See that? Okay. So that looks good. Okay, so to get this on here, this is how I do this. I thought it'd be nice to have that little bit of pink along there. And so, got a little bit of tape here. Okay, so I'm going to just take that tape, hold it right there. All right. You come across this side here. And what I like to do is I like to put a little bit of glue right there, just to hold it. You don't need a whole lot. This ribbon is very light. So sometimes you might be wondering, what do I do with all this thin ribbon? Use it as decoration. Okay, and we're going to just put another piece of tape there. And then we're going to glue it down. And don't be too hard on yourself if your measurements don't come out perfect. Just have fun decorating it. And that's what the back cover looks like. And I know for me, I might put something like handmade by. You could stamp it or something, sign your name on it, put a little note to someone. Okay. And so that gets our stuff going here. Look at that. we got all of that done. Look at that. It looks perfect. Okay, so I gave you some sentiments in here. We're going to take this front cover here. And I gave you some sentiments. So let me go ahead and get the sentiments together so that we can start to decorate the outside cover. Okay, so let's go ahead and color this in. And the nice part is that I'm using my watercolor markers and I'm just kind of matching them up to my whole color theme here. And so I am using my butterfly stamp set. And so that's where the butterfly is from, Spread Your Wings stamp set. And Life is Sweet is from the Life is Sweet stamp set. Okay, so let's go ahead and color this in. Another one of my favorite things to do is color. And these are Tumbo water-based markers I'm using. Just use whatever you like to use when you're creating. If you like to use pencils, then use those. Colored pencils, it's up to you. I'm tying in that pink on there. Nice and vibrant colors. This is one of those albums that'll just make you happy. All the bright colors. And it's super easy to color in too. When I cut these out, I'm not going to use the antenna. I'm going to cut those off. I know. It'll be okay. Okay, and just so I'm going to show you, I have this other style of butterfly that I could add. I'm going to color those in, just so you know. So you have those in your packet, and you got these too. So just another, and of course, Spread Your Wings. So we're going to put those in also. So I'll go ahead and color those in off camera, but I wanted to show you what those look like. Okay, so on this, I'm just going to go along here. This one I colored all the way in, but this one I'm just going to go slightly, just to give it a little something. Sometimes I like to change up my projects so they don't look so cookie cutter, like exactly the same. Each one has its own unique footprint. Right, and then just maybe put just a few dots, tie in some pink there. And then look how easy this is to cut out. Right there. Right along there. Okay, and you see that? So now we got all that color on there. Okay, so now we have this, and let's get some mounting tape. Yeah, I'm just going to use my pokey tool. Sometimes I use a tweezer to kind of peel this back and saves me on my manicure. Try to get that straight on there. And this just adds a little bit of dimension to it. I like to do that, so it just adds just a little bit more. Now if you want, you can take this and you can just go along here. If you wanted even more pink in there, add a little bit of stitching. Okay. And I think I need to clean up my mess here just a little bit. And let me get some more of the tape. And if you want, this already is kind of thick, so you could actually glue it down, but I just can't do that, y'all. I have to put some of the tape on here too. Just peel that back. Okay, and before I do that, I don't want to lay that down yet. I almost forgot. So before you put that backing on, don't forget. So without this, I already peeled off the backing. I got ahead of myself, y'all. I'm just pulling that through, and I'm going to tie it off. So I went and did this backwards. It would have been easier if I would not have pulled off that sticky backing, but it's okay. It's okay. And so all I'm doing is just making a knot. And the nice thing about tulle is that you basically could kind of pull it in. If you cut, the shorter you cut it, the more it kind of spans out. So I'm just going to cut that little bit. It'll just kind of do its own fluffiness. See that? Okay, so let's see if I can get this other one on here. Put this one right through there. And this looks super cute already. I hope y'all can really see this. Just don't do what I did and add the tape. Do the tulle first. Okay, so let's see what we got there. Cut a little bit more off of here. And there we go. And now, just going to tape this down right here. Now, what I like to do, I like to just reinforce it. I don't know what it is, but I like to kind of just put a little bit more glue on there. Okay. It's coming together, y'all. Okay, and now I'm going to just take this and cut this out, and then I'll go back and I will color the other butterflies off camera. But I wanted to do at least one. And see, I'm cutting off the antenna, and it's okay. Okay, almost there. This will look really cute in a shabby chic style. At least that's what I'm thinking. How cute would that be? Okay. Okay, so let's put that there. I could put it there, or I could bring it on the other side here. And it looks so cute with the... I'm telling you, handmade gifts, y'all. So I just bent it up a little bit to make it look like the butterfly landed on there. Don't want to cover up my sign. Okay, so look how cute. And now you've got these little gems in there too. So let me just show you. Add a couple of these on. You got the gems and little pink flowers. And these little pink flowers came from a punch. So it's a little mini punch. Create all these lovely little flowers. So now we can go and add some of these here. Put that in that white space there. Another good tool to have, tweezers. And your jewel picker. Okay, so I'm going to give it a little pearl center there. Look how cute that is. And those flowers just add to it. They really do. Well, I guess I need to put some glue down there. Okay, and I know this is a long video, but I really wanted you to get it. I just really wish that we could all be together and really kind of just go through the process and chit chat. But I wanted to make sure that you got at least to have the entire process, even though we couldn't meet up. But maybe one day, right? And this little tool right here is it's called a Marby jewel picker. For some reason I keep putting down no glue on here. And I love it because it works so well with these little jewels. And so that's what we got. Look how cute that is. And I need a third one somewhere in here on the outside, maybe around here. Let's see, and I could add more in, but I'll be adding these throughout the book, so, or I should say album. And so you can keep adding more and more stuff to the cover. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this down here. And look how cute that cover is. And let's see. Let's see if I can go around the sides this time. See, I like to change things up. See that? Right along there. So here's what I'm going to do. Right along the side, I'm just going to cut a little bit of this down off of this side here and make it thinner. So this is the result of cutting out all those little tiny flowers. Okay. Put that one right there. And I'm going to cut this off. And so you notice I'm switching it up, but if you want yours to go like that, you can put it on like that. It's just up to you. So cute. And let's put the other one on. Okay. You notice my net measuring technique on this, right? There's no reason why you can't measure. Just eyeball it sometimes. Okay, let's make sure that stays down there. Okay, here we go. So that's what our cover looks like. So when we add it on here, I'll just show you. We add it on here. All right, it's going to stand up like that once we put the rings and stuff on there. So you see that? That's what we got so far. So we're coming along. So let's go ahead and let me get the other things together so we can start putting flowers in throughout. And I am going to go ahead and also color in these butterflies off camera. Okay, so now for another fun part, which is to put our butterflies and flowers in here. So let's see if we can drop some butterflies in here. So these are all colored in. Look how colorful they are. I went a little bit brighter on the colors there. So don't be afraid to experiment with color. Rise above it, which is perfect for this. All right. Okay, let's drop a few of these in here too. Just gonna put one here. Doesn't have it on the other one, but I'm just gonna kind of go in, just kind of do my own thing here. Just have fun. Here's where y'all get to have Lots of fun. Do some mindless crafting. Don't think about it too much. Just go ahead and if you feel like you want a flower or a gem in a certain spot, just put it on in there. And let's get a butterfly. Put a butterfly in the center. I can put it off to the side there. It's really up to you. And let's see, my jewel picker here. So like I said earlier in the video, you are going to be amazed at all of the different items in your house that you can transform. I love tissue boxes too. That's another one. Okay, got that. Just looking to see what else I could put on there. Okay, let's move this down a little bit. And I'm just following along basically on here. This little tag page is adorable. And let's get our Dream Big sign here. So now all of these little strips of paper, and you're just like, I'm not sure what to do with them. Here's what you can do. And I got some little pieces here, and that will fit perfectly in there. You see how everything just finds itself. It all will come together. Just don't think too hard about it. Okay. I'm looking for my jewel picker and it's right there in front of me. And hopefully I gave y'all enough gems to get this project done. I think my gem is trying to escape me there. Okay. Another butterfly in here. So you see, you're just kind of basically doing your own thing, adding stuff in. If you have extra papers, little scraps and things. Get my little scraps here. I like to kind of take this and do my own thing. Oh, let's see. I think I have something sticking under there. Yep. Actually has some tools sticking under there. Okay. All right. So I did that this way, but I'm just going to go like this, like that. That make a little banner. don't be afraid to kind of mix it up a bit. Let's see, I'll do it this way. And then I might just spread your wings right there. I know I had it on another page, but I'm going to go ahead and do it on this page. So I need some tiny little paper. This way you get to add wherever you want. So I'm trying to use all my flowers here. And I think I can. Okay, see that? All right, let's go to the next page. Pull that down a little bit. And more flowers. This would be a nice page to add a picture in. Great Mother's Day gift. You can do a male-oriented one also. Masculine inspired album. Okay, and I still have more in here. Okay, and let's see, we got some of this stuff. Let's see if I have a few more left over. I think I only have one left. Let's see. Nope. Let's see. Ooh, I think this will be pretty with the trying to use up some of my scraps. So at this point, you're just basically kind of adding more stuff into your book, really having some fun with it, and just do what's appealing to your eye. Okay, I'm going to just put that there. This one's going to go in the other direction. Just like that. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm not making it exactly the same. Just kind of switching it up a little bit. Put a butterfly right there. And a butterfly there. Okay, let's see what we got. And I'm one of those people that will go back the next day and say, hey, this needs something. And there's to spread your wings. Of course, I have put it on the previous page. But you can feel free to use some of your sentiments. I'm going to go down here and see what I could do. Okay. And I'm going to just reach in here and see what else I have that I can use. I think I'm going to do another large butterfly somewhere on this page and something in that too. So I'm going to do 2 more butterflies on there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and color these in, and then we're going to add them into our book. Okay, so I added a butterfly in here. I'm also going to add one in this open space here. That way I can leave this either for writing or picture or adding a sentiment. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our teeny flowers, just a few more in here. Little spaces in case you want to kind of fill your album up. And this is so doable. I mean, look at the layouts on here. Squares, rectangles, flowers, butterflies. Okay. So that's what we got so far. So we're going to add in our rings and our ribbon and our tulle. And on the back of this, of course, just drop some flowers in there. All right, so that's what we got there. So now I'm going to get some of the ribbon and the tulle. And we are just about done. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our rings, our book rings in. And you can get really fancy with this. You can go overboard with the ribbon. So you should have the satiny pink and light blue ribbon. And so let's go ahead and get this together here. Our holes should line up okay. Okay, and these are really stuck together good, huh? All right, so let's go ahead and get underneath that butterfly there. Well, I had it pretty good together, but it's all right. I'm just doing it one by one. these are the smaller 1-inch rings, but you can add more and more pages in here and just get the larger rings. All right, that one went in pretty good. Okay, so look at that. Look how adorable. I really like those on the side there. Little pink things. So now we're going to take each of these. We're going to just string them right through there. And these hang on pretty good once you twist them on. But you can get really fancy and add a lot more stuff in there. If you want to cut the tool down, you can. If you want to add more tool in, you can. Some yellow tool, maybe some light blue. And there you go. Look at that. Not exactly the same, slightly different, but it's okay. So let's do one flip through again, and of course, again, you can add more stuff in. It stands up like that if you want it to. See that? You can get as fancy with it as you want. You could have fun with it and just keep adding more and more stuff in with it. Super duper cute. Not exactly the same, but guess what? No two projects should ever be alike, right? Because it has your own fingerprint on it. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you also join me on my YouTube channel, Mindless Crafting. And also check out our Mindless Crafting store at www.mindlesscrafting.com, where we have lots of craft products and we create our own stamp sets. So thank you so much for joining me. I do hope that one day we do meet in person. Thanks again for taking my class, my Made It Con class. I really, really appreciate it. And don't forget, you can keep watching this video over and over again. If you're not sure about other supplies in this video, just go down to the description box and you'll see a list of some of the optional tools that you can use for your project. Thanks for joining me once again, and I'll see you soon. Bye.